Hello, and welcome to another segment of Motivational Mondays with Donna. I pray that everyone is doing well, and if you're encountering any challenges or struggles, just remember that victory is right around the corner and to never give up because you may be right at the 1 yard line. This week's topic is about silence sometimes is overwhelming. Now, what I mean by that is we all go through times in our lives when it's like we're not hearing from God, we're not seeing any changes, the things we've been praying for have not come into fruition, and we're distraught. We have anxiety, we're distressed. We see other people getting what they've been praying for and asking for, and we're still stuck. And we're wondering, God, what did I do wrong? Why are you not answering my prayers? Well, first of all, I'd like to be able to go off of the fact that there was a point in time, way back in biblical times, where there was actually silence. And it was the era of 516 BC to 70 AD. And that time was actually called the silent years, where God was not speaking. And it was a point of time where it was 400 silent years, where no new prophets were raised up. And God wasn't saying anything new to the Jewish people. And so that's a long time, 400 years, not to know, not to hear from God, not to know what's going on. Well, that's not the only time things like that have happened. And it's happened throughout biblical times. And if it's happened then, it's going to happen now as well. But what I want you to know is when things are silent, it doesn't mean that God has forgotten about you. It doesn't mean that God has overlooked you. What it means is that God is putting you in preparation mode and in growth mode for the outstanding astronomical blessings that He has for you. And because it's not happening right now, and it's like you're in hiding where nobody's seeing you, people are not saying great things about you. People are not boasting about you, which you really don't want in that way anyway, because then that can make you kind of prideful. But you're not being rejoiced. And sometimes that can be very disheartening when you're doing all the right things and you're saying all the right things, but you're in preparation. And when that time is fulfilled, that's when God is just going to catapult you. And that happened with the Israelites. You know, they were in bondage for 400 years. And finally, God sent Moses to be able to give them their freedom. But then He took them the long way. What was supposed to be an 11-day trip, it became a lot longer. And they complained and they moaned and they groaned and everything. But God was preparing them for what they were going to encounter where He was taking them. There were giants in those lands. The giants could be overcome, but the people had to have the right mentality for that. Then there was also King David. King David was proclaimed and stated by the prophet Samuel that he would be the next king. But David had to wait quite a long time and go back to just tending the sheep for his father before he actually was able to become king. And Saul remained king. And why is this? Because David was in preparation. And in the long run, David was the greatest king that the Bible ever knew. So don't look at the silence that's overwhelming as God is forgotten about you, God doesn't care about you, you're never going to get to where you want to go. No, that means that God has something really, really big out there for you, but you have to be ready to handle it. It's no sense in God putting you up on a platform when you're not ready for it and you're just going to crumble beneath all of the pressure. When God brings you out, He's going to bring you out in a big way. Now, we always end our segments on gratitude. And Christian Armstrong Savola, she was a former professional road bicycle racer and 3-time Olympic gold medalist. And she was also the winner of the women's individual time trials in 2008, as well as 2012 and 2016. So that's pretty astronomical within itself. And she had this to say on gratitude. When we focus on our gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in. That's just beautiful, guys. We see it in the waters when the tides are coming. They look beautiful, and we want to be that way. We want to be beautiful. And so we want to make sure that we're having that gratitude at all times. Because again, gratitude is going to make your life soar. So for this week, remember, the silence may be overwhelming, but it's not going to overtake you. God just has you in preparation and growth mode. And remember, always be grateful. Gratitude will make your life soar. Have a great week, guys. Talk to you next week.